I've always been very active. I've done my handball, it's called, it's not very known sport here in US, in Europe at a professional level. Traveled around Europe a lot. Got to Australia, played on the national team there, got to the World Cup in Egypt in '99, played in the Sydney Olympics for Australia. I've always looked after myself. I don't see myself as a risk patient.
And that's part of the problem. He said it couldn't be me. I run, I exercise, I do everything perfect. The last thing in my mind is a heart attack, and it's not alone.
I was actually on a treadmill jogging, and I was standing next to a colleague, and I had to stop, and he asked me what was wrong, and I just complained about severe chest pain. And so he said, "Are you okay?" Yes. I said, "Yeah, I'll be fine." It was an undescribable pain in the chest, and for some reason I decided to take a shower and drive home. I told my boss, "I'm not feeling well, I'm going home." The next thing that I've been told is that I called my wife from the parking lot at the doctor's, telling her that the doctor's office was closed for lunch, and I don't know how I parked my car. I think I passed out. She opened the door, she got me out, but as I stood up, I smiled at her because I knew she was there, I was safe, kind of thing. And then I just fall flat in front of on the ground. I was out of pulse or down for 9 minutes or more when EMS came.
He was as serious as you get. He had a cardiac arrest outside the hospital, and an angel passed by. I call him an angel because it was a bystander who initiated CPR and probably saved his life. Paramedics arrived and they brought him to our hospital.
My wife was in the EMS car, and she told me some of the things that happened in there. It was pretty intense.
He was in what we call cardiogenic shock. That is, he basically had no pressure. So I had to put a balloon that we use, an impeller device, and support him hemodynamically because his heart couldn't. And then we opened up the vessel and we put him in the ICU for the next few days. His life was in critical condition.
I think as a patient you don't realize how sick you are because you don't experience, you don't see the trauma. You're in a induced coma. I was in an induced coma for 10 days, so I didn't even know what had happened. When you wake up and they tell you what have happened, it's surreal. You kind of just want to stand out of your bed and walk home. I've been told later that, first of all, it was a complete miracle that I survived, but they didn't even expect my kidneys to start working again. So there was two parts of the rehab process. First the ICU, then the level 4, which was the kidney and dialysis, and then when I was in a reasonable state, I was able to start the rehab, and they took me down to different tests for speech, memory. I was a very stubborn patient, not very easy, so I had to get up and walk all the time. I couldn't lay still. That's the kind of thing helps with rehab too. But the whole rehab team sort of evaluated you, and every day they put up sessions. I think I was very fortunate to end up at St. David's. The people, the knowledge and the care that I was giving, from the first seconds till I got in here, to the emergency responses, to the care from the dialysis people, and it become very personal relationships with people too. And at the end of the day, the people matter. I come here a lot and I get very emotional when I talk about it, sorry, but everyone gives me a hug. And sorry. Everyone knows my name, even some of them I don't. I know their faces, and some of them have been standing there in the ICU taking care of you 24/7 for 7 days. I go into ICU once in a while just to say thank you or hello. And sorry. I have 2 dogs. One loves walking, the other one loves running, so I switch up. Some days I walk, some days I run. You know, it's not a lot, but it's not fast, right? But it's enough to get some exercise. I play golf, and I really enjoy life again.
I'm happy to report you. I see him regularly exercising. He's a new man.